Welcome to part 4, the very finish of painting a motorcycle fuel tank. Of course, it's not just about motorcycle fuel tanks, it can be about car parts and that sort of stuff as well. We get sidetracked a bit in this one where we're looking at the plastics and looking at mixing the paint and putting little bits of glitter in and all this sort of stuff. It's not just a straight out tutorial on painting. Of course, as I say, this is not my training. I'm a mechanic and electronics technician. I'm not a painter, so any questions really should be directed towards a qualified painter. Also in this one we're using a 2-pack clear, which standard 2-pack clear is nasty. You cannot use it at home. You can't use 2-pack products because they contain isocyanates. So this is the ISO free, so it's the DIY type stuff that you can put over acrylic, which normally you can never put a 2-pack product over a single, but that's what it's for. So that's how it's formulated. So I really hope you enjoy this. Okie dokie. So what we've got here, I've just got to turn it up a little bit, is I've mixed up a bunch of clear with a flex aid, and I've put about 150 ml into each of these. And I'm now going to add this glittery stuff. And I've got a small teaspoon. Level teaspoon, do you reckon? So I'll stick that in there. Stick that back on there. That's the silver one, which is very iridescent, rather nice. And we've got the coloured one. So now I've got it. God, this stuff's like, let's see what the Chris and Milsom's told me this stuff floats, and she's right. We've got the coloured one here. So we call it magenta, it's not really magenta. So we'll grab a bit of this. And hopefully Bob's your uncle. It seems to settle out pretty quickly. It stays in solution, but it will sort of settle out. This stuff's ridiculous. It looks purple, but when you hit it with a torch or light, it looks mental. Like it has every colour of the rainbow and it's gorgeous. This one's just your basic silver. So I think what we'll do is we'll load a gun and we'll just do a pass over some samples, which is going to get all over the XC's doors, but we don't care. And we'll see how we go. Right. Oh, that does look good. Needs a bit more though. I reckon it'll do. So let's see what that looks like. Can we see it in there? It's got a bit of a glint to it. And let's see it outside. So in the garage it looks standard. When you hit it outside in the light, it starts to glisten. There's not that much in there, but that's only 2 quick passes. But that'll give us an idea. So we're going to mix up another batch now. Right, so here are the little samples we made. You can't really see them in this light. There's no additive in that one. This one has the pink in it, which you can see the pink bits. That sounds rude. But you can't see the reflection of them in the sun. This has the silver and that has both. Or both versa. Anyway, they turned out to be quite useful because we decided we didn't want silver and that we were going to stay with the coloured one. But yep, that's what we ended up with. As I said before, I sort of did it for Dave and I wanted to see the colour scheme against this gunmetal-y colour I'd made up, and just to see how it all fitted. Once I've cleared it, I don't know if the camera can pick that up. I'm just trying to move it around, and you'll see some of that fleck in there. It's absolutely stunning. I'm really glad that he sort of chose this, because the silver didn't sit the way I thought it would. I'll get a light, hang on. Maybe this is a good way of showing you too. Can you see that? It just behaves so differently depending on what sort of light hits it, whether it be incandescent or LED. It's really cool stuff. Right, so I'm happy with how all of these parts look. The headlight bucket looks lovely. I think I've shown you that. That was in the last one. These ones here have got the flake in them, and I'm very happy with how they look. This one had a run there, which I rubbed out and redid, but the rest of it was fine. Dave wants to put the full stickers on. I reckon he should just have the XL250 and leave that to showcase it a bit. It's his bike. It's all good. And this one, of course, always looked pretty good. So we've done that. Incidentally, I did cover in, you can just see an outline of where that casting mark was for that. Maybe it was an expansion thing. I don't know. I didn't like it, so I covered it. Now, the one thing I wasn't happy about was the front guard. Of course, it all looks good there. There's a scratch there, which I've left. I don't care. It's at the back. I shouldn't say I don't care. I sort of forgot about it, to be honest. But the front was not good enough. So I've taken it off, or rubbed it back. I've refilled with a black flexible primer, then rubbed all that off, so it's got little marks where the scratches were, and I've high filled over it now. One of the problems with high fill is it looks great like that, but the moment you put paint on that, if you put the first coat on too thick, it can sink back into the high fill and you get your scratches back again, which is a real pain. So I think that's going to be right to paint now. So I think we'll do that. The other thing we've got to do, of course, is we've got to paint this guy. And that's just got a bit of etch on it, a bit of filler, and some etch primer, and that's the bezel for the taillight. And that was, of course, all rusty and looked terrible. And I've got an idea for that. Because we've used the pink filler, the pink glitter on this, we've got a truck ton of this stuff left, the silver. And I reckon I'm just going to stick more in there and absolutely cover that in silver glitter. I reckon it'll look good. It's a bit bling and a little bit custom, but it's only a taillight bezel. So if worst comes to worst and it looks pox, we can take it off, go around there with a black rattle can and we're good. But I just want to use up that silver just for a bit of a laugh. Right, so we've got our little bit of silver with our Flexaid in here. I'm just going to dust over, just like that, and just let that go off, maybe a tiny bit more. I'm just going to let that dry for a bit, and then we'll hit it again, and we'll just do a final coat over the whole thing once that's gone off. Oh dear, I ran out of kitchen gloves. I'm just using these kitchen gloves. Oh, just dust this stuff on. Right, well, you can see our front guard's looking a lot better now. It's smoother. There's a couple of little marks, but given it was so scratched up before, I don't think that matters much. Now I'm just going to do the glittery stuff. That's the last of it we've got. We've got another bunch of it to put on the tank, but of course I want to keep that for the tank. I don't want to use it prematurely. And this stuff, as we said before, falls out of solution very quickly, so I just want to make sure I get it all and stick it in here. There's only a very small amount in there, I don't know if you can see. And so we don't have much to play with. We might have to mix a bit more, I don't know. If I have to mix some more, I have to mix some more. What do you do? So I'm just going to pop the screw stick through there so I can hold the guard up. Beautiful. It's just spinning around. It's hard. And I haven't got much left. Yeah, come back. I think I'm out. The thing is, you can't even see the stuff in this light. You've got to get a light, a torch, and you can see it pop out from inside. It's so subtle, and that's what Dave wanted, and that's what I sort of think looks a lot better too. So once you get it like that, we can then clear it once that goes off, or clear it with just clear, not a component in there. But you can see that's all through there now. Camera doesn't seem to pick it up that well. Can you see that? What if I shine a bit of light there? There it is. Done is I've done this bezel for the taillight, and I've dumped a whole lot of silver glitter because we weren't using it in there. It looks like a bloody drum kit. I'm not opposed to it though. It looks a lot better than rust, I suppose. I'll let that dry and we can put that taillight back together. Right, well once again the camera wasn't on. I dropped 100 mils of 2-pack clear in here and some glitter. Let's stick an activator in. I'm using the 3 pyramid thing. Let's stick an activator in. So just underneath that top bit. I think that's it there. That looks about right. I'll bang that back on. Give this a stir. It's pretty runny the way it is actually. Do we need thinner? There's a mark on it. If maybe we'll put a spot of thinner in. Just a tiny bit. And I reckon that's going to be ready to shoot. Do you reckon? Is that too thick, do you think? A spot more. Oops. Messy in these cans. The ones that pour out like that are much, much better. I think they are. Okay, let us have a look at that little concoction. Looks pretty much the same, but anyway, that's what we're shooting here. So stir him up, load the gun, and start putting it on. That'll probably do it, actually. I don't want to get runs or anything. Let me get my little torch. Have a look, eh? What do we got? Yeah, I think we've got fairly good coverage. It looks pretty even. You probably can't see it from... The camera doesn't seem to pick up this fleck. But I can see it in here. I reckon that's probably enough. And I just want to get ready to put the black down. I'll put the clear over there. Yeah. I don't think it will. I think we're pretty safe, but you just never know. I don't know this product at all. So we'll wait for this to go off properly, and then we'll start to lay the straight clear over it, over the whole thing. Alright guys, let's go for broke and paint this thing. Very glassy. Hope there's no crack in the paint. Beautiful, but I might have to colour sand it. I'll show you why. It looks beautiful, but I can see a couple of little specks in the paint. That's probably because I'm painting it in the garage. But it should dry the same as that, I hope. So let's just leave it be for a moment. That fleck looks sick in there. I'll have to come out and give it another coat just to cover that fleck up a bit. But so far so good. Right, well it does dry well, but this is wet. I've just put another coat down. There's a, I don't know if you can see, there's a bloody, I think there's a spot of crap in the paint. There, I don't know what it is. It's like a bubble or a, might have to rub it out. But the, can you see the fleck in it? I think it's going to be alright. I think it's alright. It looks to be fairly even. I think I've got it pretty even. So we'll just see how that dries off.
I'd like to stop there. It just looks like it's got a couple of bits of muck in it, so we might have to sand it out and buff it, just to get rid of all those little bits and pieces. But I'm pretty happy with it.
Bloke next door started mowing the lawn. Hang on. So just wet sanding the tank, getting rid of a bit of peel on it, a bit of orange peel. There's a few little rough spots which had too much peel. We're just using 2000 grit. I've given it a bit of a going over, and I also want to blend out that line there so you can't see it under the tape. This transition from silver to black. I don't want to go too far into that. But there was a bloody run in it too. You can probably see it better from where you are. But basically it's just water with a spot of detergent, some 2000 grit, and I'm just keeping it wet while I do it. And I'm going that way so I don't get grooves in it this way. I mean, you can go circular, I suppose. Now, it's been a while since I've painted this, and the 2-pack ISO-free does take a little while to sort of cure properly. Still feels a tiny bit, not rough, but peely under there. I don't care about that. That'll give it a bit of stone protection. It's just the top, really. And normally I don't get runs. Normally I'm pretty good like that, but I didn't know this paint system, and I used to, well, with acrylic I've always sort of dumped it on, then cut it right back, or rubbed it right out with this stuff. And this I put it on too thick, and of course it ran, which is a real pain. That feels lovely. The main thing with colour sanding is you just got to be so bloody careful with it, because if you get it wrong, then you've got to repaint it, and that's something that I just do not want to do. Because I can feel that transition there. So you can see the peel there, for example. You can probably go with a bit of 15. This is 12, just to get the rough off, get the high spots off. Small areas are the best thing to concentrate on, but I'm just paranoid about going through it. So I'm just going to give it a rough wipe over with that and concentrate with the 2000. And you don't use much of it because you colour sanding wet, or wet sanding. The paper doesn't clog up, so it lasts a long time. And if you can feel anything rolling around under there, it's debris. Flush it off. But we're going to continue. Then hopefully when we give it a good bath, we have a really glassy finish. Now we don't need to buff, we don't need to do this. We can leave it straight off the gun, which you've seen. But I'm doing it this way because we had that run. And I can't just rub the run out and buff that part, because it would look different against the rest of the tank. That's probably enough. I don't want to go overboard with it. I don't want to take too much clear off. It's got 3 pretty wet coats on there, so there's quite a bit of clear on there. There's a bit more under here I've got to look at, but that's generally the idea. What I found is light is not very prevalent in the area I was working. So I'm sort of looking along, and I've got a fluorescent light above me, and fluorescent light's the best judge of a paint job. And when you rub it out, you can't see the glitter, but of course once you've wiped it off and you've wet it, you can. And I think that's going to be right. It doesn't matter if it's got a bit of peel. This is a bike tank, so our knees are going to be along it and all that sort of stuff. It's the top which is, we want to get flat. And you just can't see until you sort of dry it, and that's not dry there, that's just gotta be spewing if I drop this off here. I'm just going to put it back on its butt for now, just so there's no danger of it dropping. Just thought I'd throw a bit of quick polish on. I'm just using this stuff, which is a cutter, and putting a tiny bit around the pad. Just got to be careful I don't burn through it. This pad's worn. I need a new one. Oh my goodness. That is just gorgeous. Look at this. Look at the clarity in that. I'll keep going. Right, so here's our tank. The light, unfortunately, is terrible. I don't know if you can see the glitter down the side really pops after it's been buffed, of course. Here's me. And that's the black. Now, this hasn't been polished yet. That is just a buff, right? And it's not even a particularly good one because I ran out of light. So, it's really turning out how I wanted it to. The runs are gone. I can just feel where one was, but I reckon the sticker's going to cover that. But it's looking really good. I'm very happy with it. So I guess the next thing is to give it a polish. We've got just a little bit of dullness in there, the reflection of the light. You can see the toolboard looks great. Can you read Zildjian on that symbol? I don't think you can. So it is looking good. So what we'll do is I'm going to quit for now. One of the reasons I stuck it on the bike is to figure out where the bloody horn goes too. I've got a horn for this bike. I've got to suss that out. I can put the side cover on, I guess. But what we'll do is we'll put the stickers on, the red stripes, and the Honda sticker. They haven't come yet, so hopefully before I'm ready to edit this out, they'll be here. But yeah, that's what we're sort of aiming at, and that's what we got. I'm sort of quite happy with how that's turning out. Right, so I've got the fuel tank all sort of ready now to put the stickers on. Just got to figure out how to do them. I think the first thing is to get that old one off the floor and just see whereabouts they are on the tank. So, what have we got? Here's the better of the two tanks when we started. Of course, it's nice seeing this. It's all sort of dented. It makes the one we've done look so much better. Now, this is going to serve two purposes. I really need to use it now on the buck. The first is I'll put a bit of petrol in there to rehydrate the seals in the fuel tap, or the fuel cock, petcock, whatever you want to call it. So that's all sort of been sitting overnight. There's no leaks. When I first put fuel in, there was a sweat there, and then it just dried out to nothing. So it's completely good. Having said that, I haven't. Where is it? I've got a fuel candy. I haven't opened it since yesterday. So I just wanted to make sure that it was going to be alright to use, because I did buy another petcock for this bike. There we go. And to be quite candid, I really hated it. It was crappy quality. The original kit's just so much better. Is it going to stop? That's just residual in the line. That's cool. Right, so the next thing I need to do, and if you remember I had trouble laying out these stripes. Of course, you curved in here and around here, and then, and all the rest of it. Same with this one. If we get this wrong, it's going to scream. So I'm going to look for somewhere on it which will give me a mark, and I think sort of the apex of that curve there, I might run some tape under there to get the trajectory right, just to see where it ends up down there. So we'll get some tape out if I can find out what I've done with it, because I can't remember where I put it. Hang on a sec. I'm going to go with this side first, because the other side has a dent in it, a really large dent. So hang on, I'm going to get my other glasses. The trouble is this tank isn't straight. It's sort of there, for want of a better thing. It's not perfect, but I just want to see where it ends up. If I can graph the other one the same. Where does this guy go? It's almost touching. There's a clear surrounding to it. It's actually almost up on the top there. That just sort of tells me a little bit about where the sticker's going to sit. Alright, so what I've ended up doing, this one along the bottom was useless, so I took it off. and I've run a centre line down the middle of the tank on both tanks, on the old one and the new one. And I've just straddled a piece of string from the outside of the centre line to the top of the H, and then done the same thing on the old tank, which I'm a tiny bit out there, and there to the A, which is, where is the frickin' A? There, which again is a tiny bit out, but it looks alright. I think it's going to be fine. As long as it's the same side to side, I think it's going to matter. So I've then snuck this line underneath tight so that when I put the decal on, it's windy, then I'm going to drop it into that corner. So that is how we're going to do this. And are we going to screw it up? Probably. This was, I think, a Stencil Master on eBay. Fantastic guy. Really good communication. I'd recommend it to anybody. It's a 3-layer sticker. It's got the backing paper on. Of course, we take that off, apply it, and then peel off the top layer, and it leaves the decal, which is the middle layer, behind on the tank. Or at least that's the thinking. Now, for a small decal, it comes with instructions. This is quite a well-known thing. Spray Mr. Water on. And we have to squeeze it out to get rid of all the air bubbles. It's a slightly different font to the original Honda one. This was originally 35, millimetres high. Oh, the advertised one, sorry. Pardon me. And 225 long. And of course, we got the same length, but this was 30 high. So I asked him, and he can do it on his software, just shrink it down. It gives a squatter font. I think unless you have 2XL side by side, you're not going to even see the difference. I think this is a cracking decal, and you know, $39.99 for both of these and the XL250 for the side covers. They're 82 models, so they're probably true to what the 82s had, not the 81. It's a different bike. They're the red ones, and a different decal for the side, which of course originally was a big black thing, and this is just the XL250 decal. I'm hoping Dave lets me put it on, but he might not. So I think what we're going to do is going to make sure there's no polishing mist on there or polishing nonsense on there, and I think we're going to bang these things on because I want to see what it looks like. So we'll go and get my little spritzy bottle, which, oh, I'll put the bloody thing away, hang on a minute. Just a mist like that, not much. And this is what we're going to use to squeeze it out as my Costco card. You can see my ugly face on the back of it, so that's going to be fine. How do I get this off? Oh, not bad. I never know why they say credit card. I just prefer to use my bloody finger. Take that off now. It's a Honda. Take this off too. And we have a Honda. You can just see that bloody blemish there too. I always like to peel them off right back on itself, otherwise if you do it like that it's going to lift out. I don't know if that's the right way or not, but it's the way I've always done these types of decals. But doesn't that look absolutely freaking nuts? Oh, I do like that. Honda. It's a Honda. There we go. It's a pity about that blemish just above the D. It's a pity I couldn't hide it, but it just, I wanted it here. Good, that's not going to lift. That's down good. Excellent. So, what do you reckon? It's a Honda. Very tasty motorcycle. Right, so we have a bike and a tank here. With the stickers on, they look absolutely lovely. You can see the old tank in the background with those tape lines languishing there on the ground. So we're going to just do this red bit now. Now the easiest way to do it, well, the most common sense way would be to start it in here like we did on the blue tape when we started masking and painting it, and then just lying it down on top of the tank. The problem is this is a really complicated curve here. So I think what we need to do, we've still got to give it a slight polish. There's a few swirls in there, but I'm not too fussed about that at the moment. I'm going to try something unorthodox. I'm going to try it from the back laying it up, and then I can spend more time sort of getting this how I want it. So we'll get the tape out and have a crack at that, eh? I'm just going to try and get right in the centre of it. And I want to look down the bottom of it as I do it. How does it look? Not too bad. It's just as you get to this spot here, this is where I had trouble getting the line right. I'm dead centre there, but we've got to kind of go around a curve. I don't even know if the camera can see what I'm doing. I'm tipping that's around about right there. And as I always say, I'm always friggin' wrong. I want that tight in that corner. I might use a bone in there just to push it in. But that should be round about kind of right. So what I'll do, I'm just going to get my bone. A bone is a Volvo service tool. It's made for getting plastic bits off dashes, and you'll use it for everything, including Volvos, everything else. Perfect for this sort of thing. So I can wrap that under there a bit. So lay down one more line, and I think we can call it a day. We're finished. All good. What do you think? Do you like it? And we'll just lift this. I think I already did that one. I think it was this one I had to lift. Yes, it was. And we'll just take a bit off the bottom and fold it under. I've got to put that thing on it. What do you call it? That grommet thing. I actually paid no attention to painting this bit, and it looks quite crap. There's bits of polishing crap and stuff like that in there, but I don't reckon that matters. I've got to put this on. Where the heck did it? Oh, this thing here. And that sort of goes under there, and that locates on the spigot on the bike. But for the sense of aesthetics, we'll go and bang it on. I'd call that done. I'm happy with that. The bike looks fantastic. I'm just going to move the bars over a little bit so I can get around the other side. It would be a shame to drop it now, wouldn't it? Oh, I wouldn't be laughing. It's an ISO free. But the highlights are just beautiful on it. Oh, you can see that there. I think we can, yeah, you can see that there. I've never been able to catch it on camera. It's to do with light in here, I think. I'm not sure. But it pops. It really does. It's absolutely gorgeous. So look, that's it for this series. Painting your motorcycle fuel tank. That's all done, dusted, forgotten about now. We can continue with the restoration on the bike. It's nearly finished. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you want to see the rest on the bike, there's a whole playlist of episodes there. And of course, after this, we have a CB750 to think about. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Hope that didn't seem a bit conceited, but I'm just a bit proud, I suppose. See you around.